Well, this should definitely size up to be an interesting piece to listen to. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Hope your day's moving along nicely, or maybe it's on the come down. You're coming home from work, school, just relaxing, and you're settling in. I appreciate you being here. As today we dive into a little solo work from Maddy Pryor, we're going to be taking these two tracks here together, Honest Work and Finlandia. This is coming off of her album Flesh and Blood, which was released in 1998. We are checking this out, giving it a listen, spinning it, as this was suggested and requested by John. So, John, thank you so much for sending in the request and the support as well. I appreciate that. Now, John had said that with these two tracks here, technically they kind of lead into one another. But not only that, and this is kind of interesting, the first track is technically a cover, or at least partially a cover, of a track Honest Work from Todd Rundgren, which I looked it up, and this is coming off of his album Acapella, which was released in 1985. We listened to one track from that album, which was Lockjaw, and man, what an interesting concept there, an interesting track. And then with the second track, with Finlandia, that's actually going to be by Sibelius. So we're getting two, covers slash, I guess, odes slash, inspirations from two completely different but very noteworthy in their genre artists. So I'm very curious to hear how this comes about. Of course, bind it together with the wonderful vocals from Maddy. Let's go ahead and see how this lines up. We'll discuss it after. Here we go.
I'm not afraid to bend my back. I'm not afraid of dirt, but how I fear the things I do for lack of honest work. My family is lost to me. They couldn't bear the hurt to see the shape their boy is in for lack of honest work.
Of course, it's a cappella.
I hold no blame for anyone. 'Twas I who did arrange to pay my union dues, so I'd not have to learn or change. But when I was replaced, 'twas I who started down the hill and drank away my savings too. I couldn't stop myself. The prophets of a brave new world, captains of industry, have visions grand and great designs, but none have room for me. They see a world where everyone is rich and smart and young, but if I live to see such things, too late for me they come.
Wonderful dropout.
And I know I'm not the only one to fall beneath the wheel. Such company cannot assuage the loneliness I feel.
Her voice is so strong.
So many are resigned to be society's debris, but I will be remembered for the life took from me.
Wow.
For
What?
I'm not afraid to bend my back. I'm not afraid of dirt, but how I fear the things I do for lack of honest work. But how I fear the things I do for lack of honest honest work.
What a great vocal performance by her. Obviously, not everyone else, but pipes are calling. There's a slide into that note. That's such a long slide into that pitch. It's beautiful. Extremely cinematic. That's that sound. What a phenomenal journey between these two tracks and approaching them on such opposite sides, but of the same coin. Because one track, of course, you have completely vocal only, completely a cappella, and the other track you have completely vocal-less and just instrumental. So it's really cool how you get such a deep contrast there in the approach, but then still married very much by the powerful themes that kind of connect it all together. Maddy's singing in the first track there is incredibly moving. I think that not only does she showcase some of those subtleties, but especially some power, some passion. I wouldn't say that, I wouldn't doubt that it's like accidental that she chose this track to cover from Rundgren. There must have been some reason, some inspiration, something about that track that she took that into her own and said, I really want to sing about this, and perhaps give it a little bit of a spin for herself. And I'm really curious. I'm just going to pull up. We're not going to listen to the whole track, but I would like to at least get a general idea of how that track sounds from Rundgren. So I'm looking it up right here. It actually is the track that follows Lockjaw. Like I said, we're not listening to the whole thing.
I'm
but just give me a
not
little bit.
afraid to bend my back. I am not afraid of dirt. But how I fear the things I do for lack of honest
I'm gonna skip to,
work.
hopefully we can hear all of the
My
overdubbing.
family couldn't stop myself. The prophets of a brave new world, captains of industry.
A little bit more.
So many are resigned to be society's debris.
Okay, so she really took this and kept the heart of it, and it just works with her, their specific style that you would expect from Maddy Pyre. So that's actually cool how it's already, a very isolated kind of work in its original form. And then through their folk nature and through their sounds, they kind of add that beautiful culture into the music as well, which perfectly leads into the pipes of Finlandia. So that's really cool how that's how true that is and how true it stays to the spirit of the original, while just from their vocal tendencies and such, it gives it that little bit of extra. But once again, I love how strong Maddy sings from the opening, but when everyone else joins in her as well.
But when I was replaced, was I who started down the hill.
And also, we've covered obviously a decent amount of stylized span, not a ton, but also there's a certain aged maturity to her voice here, which I really enjoy as well. I really like this track, especially in context and connection with the next one. So with Finlandia, like I said, this is going to be based off of Sibelius and his work Finlandia, which I have not heard. I'm not familiar with it, but I really like how beautifully and gracefully it transitions. Let me just catch that here, because it really does feel perfectly connected. And then that build up. And from what I can tell, it's not actual strings here, it's just the keyboards. But I love how at first they provide that kind of calm, long sustained landscape. Then the uilleann pipes come on, and that is the heart. That is the vocal, you could say, in this particular track. Those pipes are going to be called by Troy Donockley. And absolutely anthemic, absolutely scenic and cinematic. The way that he plays, the scope that they capture is wide, and it's beautiful. So, we have that sustained note back there from the keys, and then beautiful emotional playing. But then those rises begin to come. And with the gentle way that the rises come from the keys in the back, it captures the movement of it. Captures, I think, the same kind of swelling that would occur when you feel like you're about to cry and you feel that pressure in your chest that eventually like builds up, and then all of a sudden the tear ducts fill and then they overflow. I feel like the way that the keyboards were handling those synths and ambience in the back was kind of like that rise. And there was that pressure of movement that was happening that eventually, it results in tears and just the outpouring of those emotions. But I love how big and grand it becomes here as it moves forward without ever losing that touching feeling. I think that this was a fantastic track. I really, really like, however, how structured one is completely vocals only and the other is completely instrumental only. I think that that's really, really cool. Let's look at the lyrics here with honest work. I'm not afraid to bend my back, I'm not afraid of dirt, but how I fear the things I do for the lack of honest work. My family is lost to me, they couldn't bear the hurt to see the state their boy is in for the lack of honest work. I hold no blame for anyone, 'twas I who did arrange to pay my union dues so I'd not have to learn or change. And when I was replaced, was I who started down the hill and drank away my savings till I couldn't stop myself. The prophets of a brave new world, captains of industry, have visions grand and great designs, but none have room for me. They see a world where everyone is rich and smart and young, but if I live to see such things, too late for me, they come. I know I'm not the only one to fall beneath the wheel. Such company cannot assuage the loneliness I feel. So many are resigned to be society's debris, but I will be remembered for the life took from me. So I like how the idea behind in the theme is, not being afraid of honest work, and yet um, you can almost say as you're a part of the gear. You're a gear in the big machine of whatever industry, company, etc. that will use you to tread upon you and build themselves up. But there's this back and forth of I'm not afraid of honest work, but at least invest in me in a certain way. Don't use me, abuse me, and then dump me, is how I kind of read that. That's why she says, I'm not the only one to fall beneath the wheel. I'm not the only one to, in this case, sustain injury from this work, which is hard work, but still, like, have a little have a little pride in me. Have a look at your worker, look at your employee, and have a little more for them rather than just a cog. That's how at least how I read that. And you guys can't see, but on Spotify, like it shows different albums that's recommended if you like, Maddy Pryor and Flesh and Blood. And I see Silly Sisters down there, which a lot of you had suggested, and I have that album on my wish list. I don't have like a date for it or anything; it's just on my wish list. But there's also 200 and something odd albums on that wish list. Let me know what you guys thought of the tracks, of course, in the comments down below. I hope that you enjoyed it. John, thank you so much for the suggestion. I appreciate that. And I hope that you all enjoy the rest of your day. Come on back again tomorrow, and I will see you then. Bye.